With the end of financial year just around the corner, I thought I'd use this week's video to kind of give you guys a bit of a heads up on some of the things you need to consider before the end of the month. And I've come up with 4 key things that I want to talk about today. So first and foremost, council's fees. Hate to say it, but they go up every single year, just like CPI, and this year is no different. Now, they released their budget earlier this week, and just looking at it generally, things have gone up by maybe 50 to 100 bucks across the board when it comes to the residential sort of stuff. Now, what I'll do when I'm editing this video, I'll actually include a table that compares the original fee to the new fee, so you guys can hit pause and just check out that information in a bit more detail. But like I said, it's nothing too dramatic. It's like 50 to 100 bucks across the board. Okay, number 2 is the time frames. So this point in time, each and every year, we see a massive uplift in the number of applications that we receive, or requests for applications that we receive. So if you guys saw the post that I put up on Saturday last week, I think I said by 9 a.m. I'd lodged 6 applications. It was cray-cray, but yeah, this happens every single year. And we are not the only town planners out there in Brisbane that experience this rush. As a result, that rush is going to flow through to council, which means there's going to be a backlog, which naturally, inevitably means their timeframes are going to slow. So you need to start to mentally account from that, or for that, I should say, from this point forward. For the next month, maybe 2 months, we'll start to see the wheels slow a little bit in council. And like I said, it's totally inevitable, understandable, can't blame them. That's the way the industry works. Now, number 3, cutoffs for lodging applications. Now, I'm an absolute sucker for like a deadline, a challenge. It's funny, my boyfriend always says to me, why do you leave recording the weekly videos to the last minute? Why do you put yourself under pressure? And I'm like, boy, come on. Like, I love a challenge. I love a deadline. You give me too much notice and there's just too many variables or options for me to consider, I just procrastinate. I look at, oh, maybe I could consider that. Or what if I talk about that? You put me on a deadline and suddenly I come up with the best stuff. Watch my language there. The best stuff, and it just happens. Or through uni, my dad always used to say to me, for a town planner, you can't really plan well, can you, when it comes to your time? Because I was always doing my assignments last minute. And the truth was, I knew I worked best under pressure. Anyway, the point of this story is to say that we are still, like every year, accepting applications for pre-EOFY lodgement. I had to think about what I was going to say there. But yeah, for pre-end of financial year lodgement. So what I'm thinking loosely is if you want to lodge an application before end of financial year because you want to capitalize on those fee increases, then basically send me an email, let me know that it's coming by the end of this week, hopefully. So by the end of the weekend, get me some plans by maybe like mid next week, and then be ready at the end of next week to kind of make some tweaks to those plans, add some extra notations, all of that sort of stuff. Happy to do that as long as you let me know in advance. But the flip side is if you don't want that pressure, so if you don't want me turning around and telling the client about the fee increases and pushing you to get the plan updates done, just let me know when you send through the quote request. Just be like, yo, Peter, this is not an EOFY one. Happy to wait. In which case, I'll actually include the new council fees in the quote that we send through, and I'll just stay silent on the increases for the client. Because yeah, there's no point adding that extra stress or layer of pressure if you're not going to be able to meet the plan requirements or address the plan requirements in time. Now, the final thing I wanted to cover off is in the first week of July, we're going to close the office. We do it every single year. It's basically I call it Think Week. I don't know where that name came from, but it's stuck with me. It's been what I've called it for years. But basically closing the office so we can do some business improvement stuff. I want to rip some band-aids off. Like for the last goodness knows how many months, some of our automation, the report generating automation, has just not been quite working properly. A couple of the codes are broken. I've kind of stuck some band-aids on there, manual band-aids to keep us going so we can keep lodging applications, but it's driving me insane. I want to rip those band-aids off. So yeah, we're going to take some time to fix the coding in those tools, etc., to help us there. There's some customer journey. I want to sit there and look at that in more detail, especially after going through the renovation process myself at the moment. I now have a much deeper and better appreciation for what clients go through. So there's some learnings there that I kind of want to apply to our process. So I want to take a step back and go, okay, how can we improve the communication? How can we simplify things for clients? All of that sort of stuff. And then things like the videos, like I bought a chicken and an egg costume like 2 months ago because I got this great idea for a chicken and egg video, but I haven't had a chance to record it yet because when it comes to those costume videos, you kind of got to offset the quirkiness and the weirdness and the just stupidity of what they are with some actual meaty, juicy, logical town planning information. Like I can't just do a costume video and wing it and have it be subpar in terms of the information. It's not like these normal weekly videos where I can just wing it. if you're going to get a crack at a costume, you've got to offset that or balance that with some real good technical stuff. So yeah, it puts that extra layer of pressure on me. And yeah, as a result, those costumes have been sitting on my side table for months just going, come on, record me. And so yeah, I want to take a bit of time to kind of step back, think about that video, how I want to talk about the point I want to get across. There's other videos, like I really want to talk about the housing affordability crisis from a town planner's take, because I think there's a lot of misinformation out there. But again, I'm just overwhelmed by the volume of information and not quite clear how to communicate it without coming across like a righteous so-and-so and disconnected from the world and all of that sort of stuff, and therefore encouraging or allowing people to get off track and not see the intent of the video and all of that sort of stuff. Anyway, I'm waffling now. Point is, we're going to close the office for a week so I can basically take a step back and tackle some of those things that have been on my to-do list or my wish list for a while. Now, we will be checking emails, so Kim in particular will be monitoring the emails just to see if there's any council communication that comes in on existing jobs, so we can keep those existing jobs ticking over. So don't worry, that's not going to stop. But we're just going to hit pause on new inquiries, new jobs, all of that sort of stuff. Okay, I think that covers off everything I want to talk about today. So we've covered off council fee increases, wheels are going to slow from here because timeframes are going to blow out, all of that sort of stuff. Then then the third thing was basically let me know if you want to be an pre-EOFY job or a post-EOFY job, so I can essentially manage client expectations and not put extra pressure on you from there. And then last but not least is our Think Week closure. Okay, that covers off everything I want to talk about today. As I always like to say, until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no, actually, I've got three. Number one, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site-specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number two, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number three, what was my number three? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.